Okay. All right. Let's go. Let's get this started. So, real quick, you know, I was like, all right, I'm thinking of, I was watching the Young Elder last night, the live with Hayes and someone by the name of Carlos Morales. Shout out to you, Carlos, for, let's see, let's go to this channel, because I got YouTube Premium on this channel, so we don't get commercials. But let's see. Let's check out my history. This is stuff I'll be watching, man. You know what I'm saying? This one just popped up last night. I'm done watching Taco Bay bash Tariq Nasheed. I mean, how much more proof do the people want? But get your money though, Taco Bay. Get your YouTube money, which I'm sure YouTube ain't paying much right now. But last night, oh come on, man. What? The UNIA. All right, let me just go to Young Elders channel. The live last night, right? Oh man, did they take it down? Did it not upload? Okay, that's strange. So, Young Elder, if you're watching this, the video from last night is not up, I don't think. Look. It was UNIA. See? Title was Elijah Muhammad. I remember buying this book. I remember when I walked into the it was Brother Bazak. It was Brother Bazak when I bought this book. This one, In the Making of the White Man. He looked at me, his eyes open when I walked into the bookstore on was it Hanover in North Trenton, like right by downtown, the north side of downtown. And he looked at me and he was just smiling from ear to ear because I was a Puerto Rican walking into the Nation of Islam bookstore. You know what I'm saying? May have been the very first one. My pedigree. I'm going to always drop a little of my pedigree in every one of my videos because there's so much that, it just comes to me. I forget more than people know. I forgot a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? I was put to sleep for a little while. I'm waking right back up. Praise Yahweh. I cherished this book. I was 16. Let's go. All right, come on. I was 16. You're talking about 31 years ago? Woo, let's go. All right, so. Let's see. Yeah, it's not up. Okay, so anyway, there was a brother named Carlos Morales that asked Hayes, in the section where, you can ask questions. Hayes loves questions. He you could tell he's like, ain't no questions. So anyway, right? So he asked about the Arawaks, the Boricuas. You know what I mean? Cause like I mentioned in my video yesterday to Young Elder. A lot of people don't really know about us, but Hayes, he broke down something, really quick. But when I woke up this morning, it made me think like, okay, so now the topic of reparations, the topic of reparations has been brought up as of recent. We know who some of the people are in the community that have been bringing this topic up more and more lately. So it's a hot topic, which I'm surprised, but not surprised because nothing really surprises me. But hey, check this out. So I'm thinking like, what Rodhayes said last night is that the natives of the land, which I was telling you last night, the Tainos, some say the Arawaks. I didn't mention the Arawaks yesterday. He said that, we was fighting the conquistadors and there was a stalemate. I think he said something about the middle of the island or something, that they hid, or that the Spanish hid the treasures that they plundered from Puerto Rico. What you have to understand is the word Puerto Rico means rich port. If any of you from Trenton are listening, the we had a group called Aspira. It was like a little Latin group. Cause I mean, listen, you could say there were 20, 30 tables in the lunchroom. We had 4 periods of lunch. First, second, third lunch. You know what I mean? Fourth lunch. And out of all the tables, maybe 4 was Puerto Ricans. You know what I'm saying? And then the other mixed multitude of Latinos that were there in Trenton, which were not many, believe me. So the Haitians had a table or 2, and the Liberians had tables. We had a nice Liberian population, and then the rest was all what y'all would call FBA, but Black Americans, right? So there weren't that many of us. So we had our little group in high school, which was cool, you know what I'm saying? Because there wasn't much for us in the city. Like I said, the algorithms, even in the educational system, on every level of this system, has tried to sweep us under the rug one way or another. And those of us that realized what's going on, even subconsciously, maybe not even consciously, just decided to assimilate and just move on with careers and stuff like that and never look back. So anywho, right? So I'm like, I woke up this morning, I'm like, oh, and what Rodhayes was saying last night is that, Spain took the riches that they plundered. You see, it was called Puerto Rico. So the brother in Aspira, he would tell us stories that, and I forget his name. If anybody remembers his name, please let me know if you were in Aspira. It was just a after school program, you know what I'm saying, where he would teach us. He would teach us about our history. And, he did his best. You had a lot of knuckleheads that was in there. Everybody, a lot of people want to be charlatans and stuff. They want to be, you know what I'm saying? So, and paying attention to the girls. And, you know what I'm saying? So, it was I seen how difficult it was, now that I'm older to teach sometimes, but I'm sure it's even tougher today. But anyhow, maybe I'm not in school right now, no. But anyway, right? So he told us that on the island there were, when the conquistadors, when the Spaniards reached the island, they seen us playing with rubies and emeralds and all types of precious stones, even diamonds, I think. But he definitely said rubies and emeralds, and there was definitely gold on the island, and that's why it's called Puerto Rico. It means rich port. The native land, the native name for it is Borinquen. That's why we get the name Boricua. You understand? But the Spaniards, the plunderers, called it rich port. They was having a field day. Can you imagine? See? A rich gold mining history in Puerto Rico. Christopher Columbus claimed Puerto Rico for Spain. Blah, blah, blah. He saw native inhabitants, the Taino. Here we go. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. Christopher Columbus claimed Puerto Rico for Spain 1493. When he arrived on the island on the second voyage to the Indies, he saw the native inhabitants, the Tainos, adorn their clothing with gold trinkets they found in the island's rivers and streams. In English, Puerto Rico means rich port, named for the richness of surrounding area of the island. Europeans did not settle on the island until 1508, when Juan Ponce de Leon was granted permission to explore the island by Queen Isabella. He established the first gold mining operation in the northern coast that same year. Early gold mining. The first samples of gold from Puerto Rico were taken from the river Manatuabo, likely Mount Nabo River, by Ponce, who learned of the location from the natives during his initial exploration visit. During that expedition, the explorer found enough gold in the northern part of the island of the Coa and Cibuco rivers to warrant establishment of his headquarters there. In other words, he said, what? Yo, Queen, we got to set up shop right here. You understand? It is estimated that in the first few decades of Puerto Rico's occupation by the Spanish, the gold produced was valued at over $4 million in Spanish currency. That was $4 million back in the 1500s. what would that be worth today? During this time, the Spanish explorers were all throughout the Caribbean and Latin America in search of gold. And they were finding that gold was being used by nearly all of the civilizations that they encountered. Wow. So now we talking Central, South America, of course Mexico, all of the Caribbean, wherever they landed and pillaged. The Spaniards dealt with uprising from locals in many instances throughout the 16th century, including in Puerto Rico. In some instances, the local villagers were enslaved to work for the mines. Thank you. Streams in the area of San Germán, located on the southern coast of the island, proved to be equally rich. Rivers that have the sources in the mountains of Luquillo are auriferous and include the Rio Prieto, the Fajardo, the Rio Grande, the Espiritu Santo, and, well, they named it that, and particularly the Mameyes River. These are all Spanish words. They're not the indigenous names. Some of them, Mameyes, that sounds indigenous. We use a lot of the YAHWEH all throughout the island. YAHWEH's name. During those first years, the production of gold fluctuated, but continued steadily until around 1530, when the placer gold deposits were beginning to become exhausted. In 1536, the Spanish king received his last portion of Puerto Rico gold. Also, we gold mining in the Dominican Republic. There we go. Some sources claimed there was no more gold to be found. Others would say that there was no one left to work the mines. During this time, the natives were susceptible to diseases brought over by the Spanish, and many of the local villagers that worked the mines died. Some gold mines did remain in operation until the late 1500s. In 1538, crown officers in San Juan, they probably mean San Juan. Crown officers in San Juan. What's up with the typos, History Channel? Crown officers in San Juan wrote that several veins of lead ore had been discovered that contained silver, but would not work because no one had knowledge of the smelting process to extract the silver. Gold mining was not resumed in Puerto Rico until 1828, when a mine was once again established in the Central Highlands. The first gold deposits worked by the Spaniards were the placer gold deposits. These placer deposits are associated with the major rivers that drain north from the Central Highlands and were the easiest deposits to mine. Any of the rivers and streams that drain the Central Highlands would produce gold, and that will still produce gold today. Although these were mined extensively during the 16th century, the early miners never get it all. Reworking some of the old placer ground may be productive for miners today. Mining in Puerto Rico today, while these deposits are much smaller now, it has been estimated that there could still be as much as 1 million ounces of gold still left in these places. We're going to get that. We're going to get that. We're going to get that. If it's there. Of course, estimates like this are highly speculative. So, the main point is that there is most certainly still gold that can be found here today. Using modern mining methods that the early miners did not have could help a modern day gold prospector to recover gold in areas that have been mined in the past. It is thought that the United States Geological Survey that there is plenty of opportunity to find gold, to find deposits of gold on the island as well as in the surrounding continental shelves, because there's little islands too that surround Puerto Rico. It's all part of it. Yeah, even Epstein's island was like close to PR. High gold prices have reignited an interest in gold prospecting on the island. Check that out. I didn't know that. Hard rock sources of gold are largely unexplored in Puerto Rico. The sources of all the rich places in the Central Highlands most certainly derive from the eroding gold veins. While many of these low sources have been mined, the early mining methods most certainly limited the ability to extract the gold from these ores. These locations still remain largely unexplored, unlike the rivers, riverbanks, and riverbeds, which have been extensively worked since the days of the Spanish explorers. Today, the mining industry in Puerto Rico is primarily targeting industrial minerals and employs around 1,500 people. A 2010 report estimated the non-fuel mineral commodities produced in Puerto Rico in 1995 was over 84 million. Check that out. Where did that money go? Which did not include crushed stone value of over 80 million. Wow. Which is the island's second leading mineral commodity. Cement is the most valuable mineral commodity, and lime, clay, sand, and gravel are produced in amounts equal to that produced in 7 mainland states. Puerto Rico is still rich. So why are the people still poor? I am Priest YAHWEH. That is my name. That is my title. That is my pedigree. I come to you from the lineage of the Tainos. Also, from the lineage of Judah. We're all mixed up. YAHWEH told me. He said, "You gonna know what tribe you're from." I asked him. I said, "I'm an 18-year-old with dreadlocks. I'm a Puerto Rican 18-year-old with dreadlocks." He wrote back. He said, "Your name is Daniel. Study it and learn it. Buy our catalog, The Wonderful World of YAHWEH. Study it and live it. Now it's time to live it." Praise YAHWEH. They was having a field day. They was like, "Yo, this is ours." But we fought. Rodhayes said there was a stalemate. You know, I know a lot of these stories, and I forgot a lot of these stories. Like I said, I forgot more than a lot of people know. You had no idea how much I studied within the last 3 years. The way I'm getting up early, I used to get up even earlier, study groups. All our conversations were always kept holy, you know what I mean? Me and my peoples in my group and everybody that I encountered, you know what I mean? It was so much knowledge back in the day. That's how these elders can just sit there and just spit for hours and answer every single question that you have. Can you imagine how much you can't? If you were there, you know. But if you weren't, it would be impossible to imagine. And there was no internet. So there's that. So that's how much fire and zeal we had. You know what I'm saying? You know, the info wasn't available, just pushing some buttons. Nah, man, we had to travel, we had to walk, we had to get in cars, we had to take trains, we had to take buses to go meet. You know what I'm saying? Pay money to buy books, pay money, there was no free information unless you had somebody that was making copies, and that was working time just to copy some stuff or a book or something. You know what I'm saying? Can you imagine? Just sitting there on a copy machine, and then somebody hands you some black and white diddles, and you're excited. You're super grateful because you got a whole stack of some black and white copies of papers of a book. You're lucky if it's even stapled together. So, and that was part of our journey, right? Not easy. So that's how much we love knowledge. So anywho, right? So he said that the Spaniards took the gold. I haven't confirmed this, but I'm sure he's not lying. You know what I'm saying? It was called Rich Port for a reason. And the Pirates of the Caribbean, he mentioned the Pirates of the Caribbean and all of that. You know what I mean? Because what they were doing is the pirates, they were plundering. There was so much. Can you imagine being a pirate? Because you also had Cuba, and you also had, there are other Caribbean islands too there, but I'm saying as far as the ones that Spain controlled was, and not only that there's also the northern coast of parts of South America, parts of Venezuela and Colombia and stuff, with Tainos were there as well. Santo Domingo and Cuba, of course. And then here on the southern tips of Florida and stuff. So much gold in Puerto Rico. So much wealth. We will never know. Truly, they know. The Spaniards know. They took it. And he's saying they took it over there. They took all that wealth over there because they reached a stalemate on the island, so they left. Some of them stayed, whatever. And I'm sure that's how a lot of us, our skins are so light and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because they just stayed and mingled. And then there's more history, which we'll be going into. You know, other people, Germans came to the island, German immigrants. They came as immigrants. Peep that. I think it was Arbizu Campos, or was it Schomburg? His dad was German and his mother was black, for lack of another term. And then we also be having the Indian mixed in us as well. So that's why we come in all shapes and sizes and colors. And some of us even have Arab blood, believe it or not, Asian, maybe Khazarian a little bit. But anyway, right, and definitely, from all up and down the continent of Africa. But anyhow, because my brother, he did the DNA thing and came up, Saudi Arabia, Africa, etc. And we all know that there were also Moors in Spain. So Spain eventually had a little mixed multitude they say the Jews. I don't know if it was the Jews or the actual Hebrews, but they said it was a big population of Jewish in so I don't know if it was the Khazars or if it was actually us, the Hebrew Israelites, that were in Spain. But there were Moors there. Matter of fact, I just seen the last name is called Matamorro. That means Moor killer. Spanish. We didn't choose those names. You know what I mean? Those are our colonizers and the plunderers, the ones that plundered the land. So anyhow, right? So he's saying that they took the gold, or they took all the riches, whatever, jewels, everything they could carry back. So I was saying about the pirates. Can you imagine there was so much gold up and down that pirates were out there just just robbing. You know what I'm saying? Just robbing. That's how they live. And there was so much that the pirates were able to eat, and the countries that were actually plundering still took more than enough to make themselves crazy wealthy over there, right? So he was saying that they taking it to Switzerland now. They're taking the riches over to Switzerland and trying to establish something over there. I don't know all the history on that, but anyhow, what I'm saying is, and then I just said, has anybody ever talked about reparations for Puerto Rico? So I ducked up gold, and the first one that came up, it's pretty interesting, but this individual here, Angelo Falcone, he's talking about reparations from the United States. That's fine. I mean, I'm not gonna argue that. I'm not gonna read all of this because maybe not right now, not here on the channel. But what I'm saying is, in my mind, when I woke up this morning, I'm like, wait, Spain owes us. Spain took our wealth. We want it back. That's why I'm putting this video up at 7:02 a.m., 7 o'clock on 3/8. I'm putting a call out to Spain to do the right thing. Give us our money back. Give us our riches back. Give us our wealth back. There's a humanitarian crisis. He's right. Yeah, he mentions there's a humanitarian crisis going on in PR. Don't sleep. Don't sleep. There's a lot that I can get into, but we all called the Orange Man. He said, look, they're corrupt over there on the island of Puerto Rico. The people in government. And there's this one dude that I subscribe to. He's over there, and he's fighting. He's doing his best. I haven't watched his channel in a while, but he's doing whatever he can, putting mayors and different people in politics in political positions and offices over there in check. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of Puerto Ricans, but we don't have enough. We just don't have the unity right now. You know what I mean? A lot of people just hurting. They got us. We got to pay bills every day. It's crazy. Shout out to Young Elder, man. I know that stuff leaves a bitter taste in your mouth. People scamming you on the Cash App, putting up the same name as you and getting the money you supposed to be getting for all your works. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, we want our money back. That's what I'm here to say. So if this touches anybody that wants to study this a little further and look into this a little further to find out where our money is so we can get it back, so we can go through the due process of getting it back, that's who owes us our reparations. The way I see it. España, tú nos debes ese oro, todas las joyas que nos robaron. ¿Entiende? ¿Me oye? If anybody owes reparations, it's España first and foremost. All right? So I just wanted to put that out there. I'm not gonna get into a whole lesson on it because I haven't really looked into. It just piqued my interest last night when rodhayes said that. He said, look, they took the gold, they got it over there, all the jewels, all the riches. It was called Rich Port for a reason. So can you imagine how much was there? I mean, it's a small island, but it was rich. He said we were kicking the jewels around like soccer balls. And when the Spaniards, because obviously he read some of the accounts from the journals of the conquistadors from where they arrived. All of this stuff is documented. They have it. Maybe we can get access to it. So anybody watching, anybody in the sound of my voice, if this makes any sense, maybe it doesn't. It's what the Spirit of YAHWEH put in my mind this morning when I woke up. So I said, let me make a video and let me just put it out there. Let me put the call out there. It's not about quantity. It's about quality when it comes to certain things. So even if only one of you sees this and it touches you to do a little research to see about getting our funds back, let me know. Do your thing. Make a video. Shoot me the link. Let's get this conversation started. Or not. Anyway, much peace and blessings.